Ha-ha!
Hey, finger guns.
Finger guns.
Finger guns are the best kind of guns.
The best, the only kind of guns that anybody should have is finger guns.
Water guns are fun.
Okay, water
Nerf guns are kind of fun.
All right, Nerf guns. Okay.
What other kind of guns are fun?
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
The non-lethal kind.
Water cannons.
That's how we're gonna start.
Well, that's a cannon.
Water cannon that's at lagoon, so it doesn't hurt people.
So you can shoot water at the people that are already wet when they're coming down the log ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are fun.
Okay.
Yeah, but not like water cannons from the 60s.
Bubble guns are fantastic.
Bubble guns.
Bubble guns.
Yeah.
Bubble guns. Yeah. Okay, I thought that was your idea, but it's Katie's idea.
Yeah, it's
Good idea,
of course,
Katie. All right. Well, cool. We're back for another edition. Brandon is the host in this time. So you let me know when you're ready, and I'll count you down, and we can get this party started.
It was last time too, but this was his episode was his.
Who was supposed to be the host? You're supposed to host.
I haven't seen Mike be the host in a very long time.
I know you were supposed to host. You said we can't go out of order.
He's gonna guide it.
Well, just because it's your idea doesn't mean you have to host it.
You get to guide it. You get to guide it
because it's about okay,
all
fine.
All right.
I'll do it.
All right.
I will take the podcast to the finish.
Okay, you do it.
Though I do not know the way.
Oh my god.
Well, we don't have to take a drink yet.
Not yet. We haven't set the rules down. Anyway.
Do you need a countdown? It's time, my friend.
Yeah, sure. Give me that good countdown.
Okay. I was seeing what our lighting looked like.
Do we need to turn that fancy light on?
I think we're fine. We're fine. If we need to be brightened up, it's just it's hard to gauge on.
We can add some more light guns.
Some light guns. All right, are you ready?
Yeah, give me the countdown.
Okay, here we go. In 5, 4.
Welcome all humankind to another wonderful episode of Cosmos with Cosmos. I'm Brandon.
I'm Liz.
I'm Mike.
And today we're talking about realistic, unrealistic science fiction.
Yeah, something like that.
Sure.
I'm just going to go with the flow because there's too many realisms and unrealisms in there.
It gave us an excuse to watch Starship Troopers last night, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, no, we watched it the night before last night.
Time is meaningless.
What did we watch last night?
Jujitsu.
Oh, that's right.
And The Green Knight. The Green Knight and Jujitsu.
Two great leading actors in Nick Cage and Dev Patel, even though Nick Cage was in that movie for about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Two completely different movies.
Two completely... Wow,
but
what a contrast.
Strong recommends either way.
Yes.
So, today we're talking about, just in general, science fiction and, what's real about it, what isn't. Mm-hmm. But before we jump into that, we, of course, need to go over what drinks we're having. So I want to go to Liz first because her drink is just the priority at the moment. So what are you doing?
Yes. All right. I've never had this drink before. So I don't know what it's gonna taste like. I like how
I have a name for it.
You have a new name for it?
I have a new name.
I'm gonna get it in focus because we're a little out of focus.
Yeah. For those of you on the podcast, this looks like there's a layer of what looks like white foam on top. It's followed by this red haze of red wine. And below it is like this mixture of planetary orange debris. What's going on there?
I'm not going to call it that name. What was the name of the
the name I was just thinking of now is the Red Spot.
Oh.
Because it looks like a Cassini picture.
No. Oh, okay.
Or Cassini, I'm sorry.
I guess it does look like a Juno picture a little bit. Anyway, this is what I'm calling 3 tits up. Because I got a bad feeling about this episode. Two different references in one right there.
It's a good thing that we didn't do the rules yet.
Yeah.
But this is basically, it's a whiskey sour with red wine floating on top, which is technically called a New York sour.
Yeah, I didn't really
taste it yet.
I haven't tasted it because I wanted to keep the...
I'm really just pleased at how the wine turned out floating on top.
Oh.
Well, you should get all wine right now.
Oh, okay.
She had a little mix of the...
I got a little bit of mix? Yeah, it's good. All right. Anyway, moving on.
All right, Mike, what you got?
I have what I'm calling a Janolan.
Oh,
yeah. So,
what's that reference?
That is from Star Trek, Next Generation, Relics, Scotty, and the Dyson Sphere episode.
Great episode.
That's why you were doing all that math earlier. Okay.
Well, it is sci-fi.
Yeah.
Dyson spheres are sci-fi.
We'll get there. We'll explain it.
Yeah, and so basically it is ginger beer, New Amsterdam vodka. It's Gosling ginger beer, and I expect a check from both of those institutions.
No relation to Ryan.
No.
Oh.
Or maybe. I don't know. And a little cream cherry on top.
Most
so,
excellent.
Cheers.
Perfect. I have some bourbon with some honey, orange bitters, orange slice, and a cinnamon stick. And I was really hoping to get mezcal, but apparently liquor stores aren't open on Sundays.
Oh, yeah.
Which is weird.
You didn't know that?
No.
Utah, nothing's open on Sundays. What?
Welcome to Utah.
I want the mezcal. But anyway, I'm calling this the Spice Will Flow.
Nice.
There's a
Nice.
giant cinnamon stick in the bottom of it.
It is a
Nice.
huge cinnamon stick in the bottom of it.
Katie is finishing up a lavender oat iced coffee, and Jack made raspberry truffle iced latte. These fancy drinks. These are the fancy stuff.
Wow.
That's good.
Wow. And of course, Karen has a Diet Coke. So we had a conversation about this yesterday. I think there was an ad in the theater or something.
When we went to see
and
an ad for
Diet Coke is, the drink of moms that made you. And Liz goes, my mom loves Diet Coke. And I go, my mom loves Diet Coke too. So apparently it's true.
It's true.
And meanwhile, that's what I was drinking.
You're such a good mom.
I'm a good mom.
A good mom to Jack. Captain Jack, not the Jack on the... Anyway.
and Leia and Winter, let's not leave them out.
Yeah.
Very true. All right,
did we say what not Captain Jack Sparrow, but
Yeah, I said what Jack had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
raspberry
yeah,
truffle
I
iced latte.
I missed that.
Yeah,
I think I got caught
up
up with just a Diet Coke.
That's fair. All right, so before we dive into the science fiction, which we're very excited about, we have a couple of rules to the podcast, of course. Number one, any Star Wars reference. Oh, wait a minute. We should put a pause on the Star Wars references here for this episode.
Maybe it should just be Lord of the Rings references, or that, because
Yeah, that is true.
we're gonna be talking Star Trek and Star Wars.
Yeah.
Well, but I think
maybe any direct quotes from the movie.
I think like if there's I got a bad feeling about this. I mean, that's so obviously
If
Star
it's
Wars
over
reference.
the top, but at that
Okay,
so I find that a lot of the references we make, we don't mean to make them so that we drink. We just make them because that's what we think about.
Yeah.
And that's when in this case it would have to be over the top, and we'll know ahead of time we're gonna have to drink for this.
Okay,
So any
okay,
over the top Star Wars references.
Okay,
take
not
a
just
drink.
casual talking about Star Wars.
Nope.
All right, that sounds good.
So
This is when you should have said I got a bad feeling about this.
Well, I had to say it as the
starting
tagline with
now.
the drink because
You may fire when ready. Any Lord of the Rings references? Take a drink. And of course, we had two lovely puppies in this household. We have Captain Jack and General Leia. If any of them bark, take a drink.
And all the curtains are closed.
So hopefully they won't see anything outside.
Well, they shouldn't, but they will.
Yeah.
Jack will see something.
All right, so with that, let us get going into this magical, mythical, wonderfully scientific realm of science fiction.
Science
Excellent.
fiction.
So, in general, I'm going to put a blanket statement over this that I think
Okay.
even Liz will agree with, because we got in a little discussion about science fiction
that
before.
Is beautiful hangover. But
Which
go ahead.
we
go
will
ahead.
talk about in the Hangover, or at the end of this episode, who knows.
Okay.
Science fiction in general, as the Supreme Court said about pornography, is we know it when we see it. And that's science fiction.
We know it.
We know it when we see it.
Is it the same for fantasy though?
It is. So, Lord of the Rings, fantasy, right?
Well,
You
I
know
completely
it. Yeah,
agree.
absolutely.
Mythical creatures. I completely agree.
And then you have mythical creatures and science fiction realms as well. So it's a big Venn diagram in the giant spectrum. But if you want to call it science fiction, it is. We're just going to welcome everyone. Come on in.
Okay.
So what we want to talk about now is what are some of the realistic fashions of this crazy ideas of science fiction. Like you think of the Death Star, for example. Is that realistic? We have some wonderful things called the Dyson Sphere. We have lightsabers. We have warp drive. We have communication devices that go into your ear,
aliens.
bury into your brain, and you can
Translate stuff?
translate. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what's real about that? What is it?
Well, the communication devices, yeah. I mean that stuff is definitely. I mean, think about the original series and
Star Trek.
Of Star Trek. Yeah, the original series of Star Trek and all of the stuff that they had with the communicators and I mean those are just flip phones right there. And I mean even with our phones today, I mean we talk into them. And
We do all the things with them.
we do all the things with them. And I mean, the only thing that they don't do is like scan somebody to find out
Not yet. There was
how
a
sick they are.
Remember we had the Google Lunar X Prize years ago now, and we had a couple different X Prizes. There was an X Prize put out a couple years ago for a medical device that can tell you what illness you have by scanning you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's convenient.
So I mean, it's coming. It's coming,
Yeah.
and I think all that stuff's realistic. I just don't think that anything else is realistic. So,
What do you mean? Anything else?
well, okay, warp drive, transporters, hyperdrive, anything that's faster than the speed of light,
Now-
is not realistic
now-
in today's world.
But
Nat, wait.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, let's go you first, then I'll go.
well, I was just gonna say, but is there plausible, realistic science behind it?
Oh, yeah, I mean,
So that's
okay.
what.
well, with warp drive, yes.
Mm-hmm.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, yeah, we're not there yet, but there is
Yes.
you know.
And so we can get there. Teleporters, no. It's just
Ooh, teleporters are a lot of fun.
there's
So
just
okay,
so
so
much.
They'll take your ass
start
off.
let's start right here with traveling in science fiction. The warp drive, hyperdrive,
all right.
teleportation.
Okay.
All right, so let's go first with warp drive.
Okay.
So warp drive is warping beyond the speed of light, going to a specific location. So you're going 2, 3, 4 times warp.
Yeah, faster than light travel.
Yes.
Which is kind of what's needed
Yeah.
to go anywhere in
And
the
that
universe.
is 100% against the laws of physics. Of course, there is that cosmic signpost of the speed limit saying you cannot exceed the speed of
I
light.
see where
But
you're
there
going,
are-
yeah.
But there are ways around that.
Loopholes.
And there are
loopholes.
things that do travel faster than light, though, right? Like
Like what?
Well,
like
tachyons.
dark energy or something
Oh,
like that.
no.
Like, or there's
No,
something
tachyons.
that yeah,
Tachyons,
okay.
but I mean those are really quite hypothetical. I
Yeah.
mean there's
We
just
got a tachyon pulse coming our way. It's,
yeah.
that's where we're at.
So
Okay.
faster than light, particles going faster than light, and there's like, it's not, I guess, expressly forbidden. They're hypothetical, and they need
It's,
to be found,
they're
proven to exist.
Science fiction at the moment.
Yes.
Okay.
Firmly rooted in science fiction in the moment. But, I mean, the warp drive is a plot device. However,
As we saw in Game of Thrones season 3. Right? Anyway.
so warp drive, though, is not expressly forbidden, and it has been shown that that you could conceivably do it. And so warp drive would be that you contract space in front of you and expand it behind you, and you need positive energy to contract the space
So
in front of you.
think happy thoughts.
Think happy thoughts. You need negative angry energy to expand it out. However, they're behind you, and so you're kind of in this little bubble. So the ship's not technically going faster than the speed of light, but by contracting and expanding space,
Like a
you
slinky.
you get there quicker.
Yeah, okay.
I read it's kind of like, think of it as like an escalator, and so the space behind you appears to expand, whereas the space in front of you as you go
It's
down.
like
How-
okay.
How much
Okay.
energy would that require to contract and expand space
Well-
in front and behind
Well,
you?
it used to be a phenomenal amount, but now they've gotten at least the contracting part down to, you need something about the mass of the sun.
So that's reasonable. That's reasonable.
Reasonable
That-
in quotes. Now,
Okay.
the main problem though was the negative energy, which, how do you get this negative energy thing? Energy should be is positive, but there was a physicist that pulled a Newton, and while he was sequestered for the pandemic,
Good for him.
he worked out that you could actually use positive energy in this little kind of creative way to expand, and so now this warp drive falls now into the realm of possibility, even though we are probably centuries and centuries away from actually.
But it's
being able to do
realistic,
it.
unrealistic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Science, sci-fi plot device.
Constricting and expanding space in front and behind you, that's one way you can travel faster. Liz, what do you have for another way we can travel through space?
Wormholes.
Wormholes! Exactly!
Yeah.
How would those work?
Oh God. Oh, what it creates a bridge through space, right? So it kind of like links. Does it loop around?
So
it connects 2 points.
The best
It
way,
connects 2 points,
yeah, the best way I've heard of it is imagining space as a sheet of paper, and with the
and then
wormhole,
you
you fold the
You're
paper one
folding
end to
it
the
so
other.
that
Yeah.
you can then just go boop straight through. I mean, if wormholes were a real thing, which
Yes.
nothing's been observed, but it's by physics it's possible,
nicely
right?
Yeah,
said.
anything that's not forbidden is possible.
Yeah, okay, so it hasn't
Like
been
love.
observed, but if wormholes were real, I mean, is it? Would we have detected one by now, or is our
necessarily.
science still our observation
necessarily.
techniques still
So,
too limited?
The thing is, I don't believe that wormholes have some sort of, like, to quote to use a Star Trek thing, energy signature. But
detecting an energy signature.
But the thing is like, okay, so at least on the quantum level, you're gonna have wormholes all over the fucking place. Space time is so chaotic on the quantum level that you are making wormholes all over the place. They don't go very far and they don't last very long, but they exist. And so the question is, are wormholes on a larger scale,
Like can fit ships through, people through.
yeah, and what happens once you go into that wormhole? Once a wormhole, let's say a wormhole pops open in front of you.
Okay.
Cool. What happens when you I don't know, throw an apple into it?
Death. I don't know.
It should instantly close. You
because
need,
you've
to keep them open and stable, you need exotic matter.
I love that word. I love that phrase.
And so these are materials that really and truly don't exist in our universe.
Do they just have to keep it PG for the kids instead of calling it like sexy matter?
Sexy matter.
Sure. You need sexy matter. That's what you need. A lot of sexy matter.
Sexy matter for wormholes. You get the sexy matter and you go straight through the wormhole all the way through.
Wow, my mom's watching.
Called your drink three tits up.
Yeah, because as soon as you enter that wormhole, if you don't have enough sexy matter, things are gonna go tits up.
That's not our fault. All right.
Yeah, so they aren't stable. Wormholes aren't going to be stable, and so that's why, like in the next generation, that it was a show. And they actually called it. This is the first stable wormhole, and it turned out it wasn't. But yeah.
Okay.
So we got contracting, restricting space. We got wormholes, and then one of my favorite ways to get through space is from the great science fiction show, which has many PhDs working on it, Futurama.
Wow, I didn't know that. Okay, all right. It's
Yeah.
because
No,
you saw
they-
that guy with the shirt, Futurama shirt.
Yeah, actually, so the writing staff Futurama actually had like 3 or 4 PhDs writing on it. So the way they did this is they actually moved space around the ship, and that's how it went faster. Is the ship didn't move, is that the ship got space itself to move around it.
Oh.
So kind of like warp drive.
Yeah.
In the the modern physicist way of not necessarily Star Trek, but even though Star Trek might be doing it the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
That'd be neat. All right, and now we of course have to go to teleportation.
Nope.
He says nope automatically.
Nope.
Which is understandable because as of right now, we can quote unquote teleport an electron like half a millimeter for a single data point. Whereas if you want to transport a human, say from a ship to a planet, you need to transport a gazillion atoms 100,000 miles away and have it reassembled exactly how it was.
Yeah.
So number one, is that ever going to be possible? And number two, if you did do that, do you actually kill somebody and create a clone? Liz.
No, yes, no. Oh God. In my brain, I don't know how, based on physics and science, chemistry, whatever, I don't understand how it could ever be possible. I think like replicators maybe could.
Replicators are based on
3D printers.
Is based on the same thing, I think.
But you're putting a person
live
back
being
together and keeping everything intact, including the mental processes that control how you think.
It doesn't feel like the biology and possibilities of assembling somebody is the issue. It feels like storage space is the issue.
Space.
Like how many gigahertz gigabytes are necessary to have all the data of all the atom placements in the human body?
Data of a human being in the cloud.
There's a shit ton. Like, okay,
That's the technical term.
that's
Yes.
technical term. There are a lot of issues. Like, first of all, how do you dematerialize a person?
As opposed to just scanning and making a copy.
Well, it scans.
Oh, yeah. But then it takes them
but
apart
then
as
it
well.
dematerializes.
And it takes all that matter and sends it somewhere
and
instantaneously.
information. It's a combination of information and a particle and matter stream, whatever you call it. But
Mather stream. What do they call it when
but
the
just
bathroom
at the basics, teleportation was shown to be completely not in the realm of possibility in the 1920s with
It's one
a
of the
little
plot
guy
devices,
named
yeah.
Heisenberg.
Hey!
So that's why they'll talk about like Heisenberg compensators and stuff like that when they talk about like
to make it like a
yeah,
make
because
it more plausible.
yeah, Heisenberg says that you cannot simultaneously know the exact position and momentum of a particle.
On this question, can we not know those two locations being things like that just because of laws of nature, or
So laws
because
of nature.
we do not have the technology to do that?
No, it is the way that the universe.
Fancy physics, man.
It is the way that the
That's so
universe
odd.
exists. So it is a fundamental.
Now,
Hold on, it's a fundamental
Don't
nature.
interrupt him.
It is a fundamental nature, fundamental attribute of the universe, and so you can't do it. So you can't have Heisenberg compensators in real life.
now
You can't do it.
why can't you have two different machines locating two different variables of the same electron, what have you?
But
Why-
isn't it? It's not just two different variables, though, right? Because it's like
So here's the thing: if you want to scan an electron,
I do.
what do you do?
Hire other people to do it.
You hire other people.
get a really expensive machine.
So what those other people that you hire to do it, how are they going to look at this electron? They're going to use light,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so light has a wavelength. That wavelength has a certain energy to it, and so when you look at that electron, your error in knowing where that electron is the wavelength of the light, and so the idea is to make that wavelength as short as you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is
There
it's
we
going to
go.
hit that electron. It's going to impart energy to it. You don't know which way that electron is going to go, and so that energy is the momentum of the electron.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Science Communication 101 with Mike George, who did a phenomenal job about the Heisenberg uncertainty principle.
Was it?
Wow.
That was great.
That was beautiful. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle. So Jack on YouTube says one old British sci-fi show had the transporter make a bubble around the person, and your bubble went through the transmat stream, and you popped out of your bubble at the
But you're
destination.
still within the bubble of the information still exists in
Yeah.
there.
And they stole the Glinda effect from Wizard of Oz.
Well, the
to
bubble
fix
could,
it.
the bubble couldn't protect Glinda from a house, so
No,
it's
that was
useless
the
to
Wicked
me.
Witch of the West.
That was the Wicked Witch of the
Glinda's
West.
the good one.
Glinda.
Oh,
she
God
came
damn
in
it.
the bubble. She
She's
came
the
in
good
the
witch.
bubble.
Wait. So which one was killed by the house?
Wicked Witch of the West.
No, Wicked Witch of the West was the one that
Oh
was
no,
after
the
Dorothy.
east. She
Wicked
was
Witch
the
of the
east.
East? Oh,
was
Glenda,
the east.
Glenda's just the good witch. She's
From the
just
north.
good witch.
But isn't there a good witch from the south as well?
I mean, you have
You
all
would
the
think
cardinal
you'd have all
directions.
the directions.
Radagast of the south.
Okay.
Radagast. Oh, God damn
Oh,
it.
yeah,
That's a drink.
that's a Lord of the Rings reference right there.
Okay, so we
went from Transporters to Wizard of Oz to then
Which
a
makes-
Lord of the Rings
I mean,
reference.
how did Dorothy tap her shoes 3 times? She was hitting the correct electrons
all a
to
dream.
open the
It was all
wormhole
a
to get.
dream.
Yes.
It was all a dream. Yes, it was.
Okay,
Alright,
so
so what-
Transporters are a no-go. They're not...
They're a great device though, and there's no way that Gene Roddenberry could get around it. I mean, because
You need a plot device.
you
in
need
some
it
way.
Yeah.
because it's not like the Enterprise can land on
Mm-hmm.
on the surface. I mean, you can use shuttles to get you down, but
Which Riker was the
transporters are
best
so much
at?
quicker.
What bothered me is in the new Star Trek, the new with J.J. Abrams, is when they can transport from a fast-moving ship to a fast-moving object. It just defeats the purpose of transport. Anyway, That's
Yeah.
a different
Okay. All right.
story. All right, so we got
Yeah.
our transportation down. We got the ships, the transportations, how to do it, teleportation. And so up next, let's talk about energy. What are some energies and energy storage capacities used in science fiction? I'm going to say Mike for last
I don't know.
because he has math ready to go.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're talking about. Okay, all right.
All right, so something...
Oh.
Well, what movies? Let's highlight some movies here. Let's maybe take away from Star Wars or Star Trek and some other movies then that utilize things. Like, do you have something in mind?
So,
off the top of your
off
head?
the top of my head, because we watched it recently, Contact.
Oh,
We
okay.
have these giant mechanisms that move that look like they were, a quarter of a mile, huge structures moving in unison,
they were huge.
and they opened up wormholes. How did that garner the proper energy to create that? I have no idea.
It doesn't. I mean,
No.
it's a plot device.
But I mean, we can think of the movie Contact itself as being fairly realistic, unrealistic sci-fi.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically because Carl Sagan wrote it.
Yeah,
Well,
and
yeah, but the math, the language of communication is going to be based on math with that.
Well, that's so we have communication, which is a different part we'll get to soon in this podcast.
Okay, all right.
But I'll say the one of the cop-outs Carl Sagan had in that movie is that the wormholes and the energy used wasn't created by the alien species that contacted us. They were relics left over from an earlier civilization or earlier
Right.
species.
Yes.
So even that laid it up to, as we all know.
Which, I would think realistically we wouldn't really.
Can
know.
you imagine? I'm sure there are books and stories out there, like the Time Machine. But if this civilization goes away, and in 100,000 years, a new people start spawning up, maybe they're dolphins with legs and thumbs,
Okay, yeah,
and
they're
they start
next in line.
exploring our technology and realize, how did they do this? Like, that's kind of what this the species in Contact would think of. How did they create these planes or this internet? They have no idea. It's a fun little thought process. That's all I have.
No, I agree.
It takes a lot of faith in this civilization from the past. You don't know what this is to
Oh my
put
goodness!
it together.
Could you imagine?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
there was a
But-
lot of faith to build two of these machines.
Yeah, and let's send Bob through this wormhole and see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But
So-
then, and I think what is maybe the most realistic part of Contact is when she comes back.
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
really go anywhere because time, and no one believed her experience, and she had to go testify, and Congress is grilling her, and they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
But-
She's like, "You aliens, why aren't you believing what I'm
But
saying?"
let me put my glasses up. But in the book, Liz, she actually had a twig and sand from the beach. But then people said that she brought it with her.
Yeah, so that realistic is doubting the whole
Yeah.
experience of
What-
the scientist who then.
You know what irritated me about the end of Contact was, and I really dislike this in movies, and I'm sure that I'm not going to explain it well
Okay.
or say it well, is that they what's his face, the senator,
Oh,
or
yeah.
representative, whoever he was, went after her as if this was A, completely her decision, and B, she came up with the designs herself. No, it was in this Nazi video, and they just happened to find them.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, she was grilled,
Yeah.
and that has always just really irritated me about that movie. But
Mm-hmm.
at that, and actually listening to the
Oh, yeah, you can't
on the
listen to it,
headphones.
You do.
Oh yeah, that's a different
can't-
story.
you
You
cannot
can't hear
listen.
the radio signals sitting next to the Atacama Desert or what have you, the large array in New Mexico, and you can't just hear it. All right, so
Atacama's in Chile.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Mike, what other energy structures could exist to harness a huge amount of energy?
So you're talking about Dyson
Let's
spheres?
do it. Let's do
Dyson
this.
Spheres!
All right, so I
Vacuums.
do have to say that at 5 o'clock this morning, I was
Oh.
thinking about this shit.
Really?
I was. And
Oh,
so
sleeping.
I,
Some
I was
dogs
thinking,
want to eat about that
I
time.
was thinking about the episode, and I was thinking about Dyson spheres and specifically. Dyson spheres, there was a scientist, physicist named Dyson who came up
Freeman.
with...
Vacuum related?
What?
No.
No, okay. I said vacuum related.
Yeah, no. in the 20s or 30s, it was.
That sounds right.
So 20s or 30s, it was about basically 190, 100 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
He came up with the idea of, hey, why don't we? It was a.
Hey.
It was a thought experiment. What if you built this structure around the star? Because a planet only receives a small, very small fraction of light from the sun.
Yeah,
from
especially
its
the further
sun.
away you are, less light you get, less
Yeah,
energy.
and so if you build this structure around the star, you should be able to harness more energy and get more energy from that star. And so this idea of a Dyson sphere was created. It kind of blew up, and sci-fi writers really grabbed a hold of it.
It's great.
Um,
That's why.
yes, but Dyson himself really wished that his name wasn't attached to it. And really kind of and truly what he envisioned at first was these like little pockets of area that were just kind of receiving light from the sun
Like
and
giant
all these
solar panels.
things. Basically, yeah.
Can you what science fiction like books or movies or whatever is the Dyson sphere used in? Just to kind of
Well, the TV show is Star Trek Next Generation.
Oh.
It's actually in Relics, and so
The episode Relics.
Oh, that's
in
right.
In
That's
the episode
right.
Relics, Scotty is on the Janolan.
Oh, Scott.
That's the name of my drink.
Which is a great episode. Oh my goodness.
And he has crashed onto the outer surface of this Dyson sphere that completely envelops the star. And so I was thinking about Dyson spheres at 5 o'clock this morning, and in particular, what I was thinking about was that the Dyson sphere actually had water and an atmosphere and all that on the inner surface, and I'm like, that can't exist. That can't happen unless
you're
the
too
Dyson
close to
sphere
the
is moving.
sun.
Well, no.
Those are around the sun,
but-
right?
yeah.
This was about
Or a star.
okay. So two things popped in my head. The first thing that popped in my head was that the water and all of the atmosphere and stuff on the inner surface of the Dyson sphere would not be able to be there because the gravity, anything on the inner surface of the Dyson sphere is going to fall in towards the star. Fall in.
Oh, because the
Gravity.
gravity.
However, you can get around that. You can get around that with 2001: Space Odyssey. What happened? What they do with it?
I don't know.
You
I was
spin
saying,
it. You
spin
were
it.
right.
Yeah, okay. You
Artificial
okay, you
gravity.
spin it.
Yeah, you
All
got
right,
it.
All right.
You got
This
it.
is my brain, how I communicate.
So, for all those that are listening, Liz was doing circles with her fingers.
Yeah.
And so you spin it. But
Wait,
you have to spin
wait.
it really quick, and it did not appear to be spinning in the episode. But go ahead.
If you had your classical Dyson sphere with the structure around the star, you would have to spin, I'd imagine, individual structures. You can't spin the whole thing at once because that would you just can't do that.
Yeah, well... Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure
not-
you could in some science fiction.
Science fiction?
Super science fiction. Yeah. that's what we're
Science
calling
fiction
that.
squared.
So I'd imagine like each individual segment would have to be
Well,
turning in its
this
own.
this was a complete structure, right? And so there are so many forces on this
goodness, I
on
can't
this
imagine.
Dyson sphere. The star is trying to pull it in, and so I mean fundamentally there's the question of is there a material that actually can withstand the forces that
Ooh.
I mean, because let's think Dyson came up with it as a hypothetical thing, right? And so people are running with it in sci-fi, and now you really do have
course.
to ask the question: is this stuff even remotely possible? So the second thing that I was thinking about was: is there enough material in the solar usable material in the solar system to create a Dyson sphere at 1 AU away from the sun, which is 1 astronomical unit, which is a distance the Earth
Okay,
is from
now
the sun.
so the idea again, Dyson sphere, not the original, but the classical science fiction sense, is that surrounding a star with substance that gains energy. So imagine a sphere of something, and maybe not solid, but it has spaces in between it, of course, but stretches the entire orbit of the Earth, surrounding the sun to gather its energy. That's a mammoth Beyond mammoth
What
structure.
happens to Mercury and Venus?
They're still in there.
Well, they're
Well, Mercury will have to be gone for a reason Mike will get into.
Okay, well, there are let's be honest. There are various models of the Dyson sphere.
Okay.
You can have rings, so maybe just one ring,
No.
which goes around.
Really
Sorry.
quick, when you hear Dyson sphere, I have an image I think of. What do you think of,
The
Liz?
fucking
sphere.
vacuum.
Okay, so Liz thinks of the giant vacuum.
The fucking $500 vacuum.
The giant vacuum from Spaceballs that suck up the atmosphere of Geruthia. Mike, what do you initially think of when you hear Dyson sphere?
I think Star Trek Next Generation is a sphere that actually surrounds the entire.
I think
star.
Different
I think
surroundings.
What do you think about?
I think of a honeycomb structure around the star. Yeah, it's not solid. It just has its little spokes around it in the honeycomb sphere. It's exactly what I think of.
Yeah. So there's holes in it.
Massive holes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that's actually one of the versions of a Dyson sphere. Dyson sphere, I think, is just kind of a catch-all term because it can be rings. It can be kind of like what you're talking about. Where it's a series of rings and
a Dyson sphere. That's what one of the people were kind of like hoping for with the whole. Was it the dimming of Beetlejuice?
Yes, Beetlejuice. I was so hoping.
And people were like, "Oh, it could be a Dyson sphere." It's not.
If you remember a podcast from last year, or just in general, the star Betelgeuse, the shoulder of Orion, was dipping in brightness, and people were thinking, "What is it? Is it aliens? It has to be aliens. It has to be aliens."
or it's about ready to explode,
Or
which
it's
is what I wanted.
I was
wanted
hoping
that.
for that. I was hoping
But
for the latter.
one of the offshoot chances, which is always one of the last things to cancel out because you can't disprove aliens, is that it was an alien Dyson sphere around the star.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
That'd been cool.
Going back, Jack says, and I think, Jack, are you referring to Roddenberry? He was all about the Dyson Swarm model and had some cool ideas for rings too.
Swarms are always fun in
and
space.
I dial a rotary phone to speed up the Dyson sphere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean the honeycomb thing actually could work. As well. It's all about collecting that energy, right?
Yeah.
Which really, at the end of the day, is what the Dyson sphere is all
That's
about.
the goal, right?
And so this morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, I decided that when I woke up, I was going to play a little Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But after that,
Should we do some math?
I was going to do some math.
He in fact did some math.
I in fact did some math.
He was.
It is in my notebook on the
He was
kitchen table.
he was at a dining room table just writing his notebook. I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Calculating Dyson sphere stuff." And I was like, "All right."
So I wanted to know, what I really wanted to know was there enough mass in the solar system to actually build a Dyson sphere at the Earth's location?
Now, do you consider a Dyson sphere the solid sphere or
This-
the honeycomb object?
I was going to max out the mass, so it was going to be a complete sphere around the
What'd you
around
find?
the sun. I found that if you assume that it's well into the future, and we have created some materials that it's all about the density of the material. And so if you have at 1 AU, the Dyson sphere is 1 meter thick.
Oh my goodness.
That's it. So 1 meter, by the way, is about 40 inches.
Thank you.
So it's 39 something, but we'll say 40 inches. So it's 40 inches
Round
thick.
up, it's fine.
The Dyson sphere is 40 inches thick, and if
That's not.
It's a huge structure.
it's a huge structure, and it's not very thick, right?
Yeah.
And so
That's really thick for that big of a structure.
it is really thick for that that kind of structure. But if you assume that 1 kilogram per cubic meter, which is the density of water, and no, wait a minute, no, that doesn't seem right. Anyway, so 1 kilogram per cubic meter, just so that it was easy calculation.
Yeah.
The mass that you need is mercury to create that.
So you would take the entire planet of Mercury, spread it around like butter on toast
Yes.
to create a Dyson sphere.
Yeah.
Follow up. How many Skittles is that?
Six.
You know,
You thought about Skittles,
I did
didn't
think
you?
about
You thought about
Skittles. I did think about Skittles. And I was going to calculate it, but I was like, no.
I feel like we need to add the new rule. Any Skittles reference, take a drink. That's been our thing for a long
All right,
while.
ready now, everybody.
Oh.
All right,
Okay.
sure. Starts now.
Skittles.
If you do the average density of the Earth, it is the entire mass of the solar system minus the sun. So anything outside of the sun, you need all of that mass to create that Dyson sphere. The problem is that mass also includes the gas and gas giants, which is not usable. And so that's your range right there, from Mercury to all of the mass of the solar system.
So how then realistic? How plausible is a Dyson
It's not.
sphere?
It's not.
in
It's not,
actually-
because what goes around the sun? Comets. They're going to impact it. What goes around the sun? Asteroids. They're going to impact it. And so the Dyson sphere is not.
If we have the technology to create a Dyson sphere and cannibalize Mercury, it feels like we have technology to say, hey, comets, maybe don't hit us today.
I'm sorry, Mercury.
Yes, don't. Hey.
Don't.
Hey, man, I know we have our issues, but maybe don't
So
hit us
we're gonna
today.
do like me and Winter, where I put my hand out like this. And,
Winter's the cat.
Cat.
And Winter is the cat, and Winter will not jump onto the
That's
counter
how it
to get a
works.
treat. So we're gonna do that with
He has
comments.
to
All
wait.
right.
He's taught the cat how to wait.
All right, so there is our energy in science
Okay.
fiction. Now let's take a very broad view, since we're about 40 minutes into this now. Let's take a broad view, and let's kind of talk about the most realistic worlds of science fiction.
Hold on, we
Liz
have
has a thought.
a YouTube question. What would the energy from a Dyson sphere be
Everything.
used for? And that would be everything, Mom.
Everything.
It would be
It would
everything.
be just so we
It
don't.
would
we
power
don't- It would power
civilization.
everything.
It would power civilization.
It would be too much power. We'd be flowing with energy.
We wouldn't have to pay for energy.
Well,
Yeah.
we still would, because Dyson sphere costs money to build.
Capitalism. But
And
anyway.
and you know what? One more thing about the Dyson sphere, because I mentioned this, and Brandon and I actually talked about it for a brief moment. Is, can you imagine an alien species that is studying our sun?
Yeah.
And as we are constructing this Dyson sphere, they don't see us constructing the Dyson
yeah,
sphere
'cause,
though.
like,
But what they do is they see our sun slowly dim, and then it just blinks out because we put the final piece in.
that would be
And
crazy.
That would be crazy.
That's what we were hoping for Beetlejuice.
Well, one of the things,
Partially. I mean, I was hoping for it to explode, but you know, it's me. Anyway,
I really wanted it to
Anyway.
go boom.
what?
Okay.
What
But
was,
anyway,
what was the next thing?
That was great. So the next thing, because we're kind of running close to time here, we're 42
It's
minutes
fine.
in.
Whatever.
Okay.
We still got it. It's fine.
Let's talk about just in general the most realistic scientific worlds or universes out there.
Oh.
I'll go first since I posed the question and I had 20 seconds to think about it. I'm gonna go with, pause for a dramatic effect, Blade Runner. Don't laugh. Because Blade Runner doesn't have to deal with warp drive or wormholes or traveling beyond the solar system. It has to deal with... That's a drink,
Oh,
ladies and
shit!
gentlemen!
It's been so long since we've had a dog bark during.
Yay, Jack.
That was Jack sleeping and then
Waking up and
himself
realizing,
up.
yeah, no one's around him. So I'm gonna go with Blade Runner.
Wow.
Okay.
Because it doesn't deal with the space, far out, no lightsabers involved. It is just artificial intelligence.
It is peak technological 80s.
Yeah, but the idea, yes, I love it. I also love Tron and the music thereof. But on the whole movie Tron, actually, just the idea of artificial intelligence,
Okay.
increasing to such an aspect that we cannot tell difference between humans and cyborgs, and it takes a specialized individual to tell difference apart. Like the Turing test doesn't exist at that point because there is no difference. So I think we are not. Well, in the grand scheme of history, rapidly coming upon it.
Oh no!
In the grand scheme of history, I'm talking.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking
In the grand
20,000
scheme,
years
yes.
in the court of history.
Yes.
Yeah.
In our lifetimes, probably not.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not. No.
You can't say
I'm
definitely
sorry.
not. You
No.
can't say definitely.
Have you seen our Life Like Robots?
No, wait.
No, we're nowhere
Hear me
near.
out. Hear me out.
Like
Hear me
Ex
out.
Machina fucking
let me make my
robot
point,
levels.
Makina. Let me make my point.
Fuck you.
That goes back 10 years. Let me make my point, and then you can tear it apart. So think about technology for artificial intelligence when you were born in the 80s or 70s or whenever you were born.
Mid-80s.
And think about when that was.
Yeah.
Think about technology.
Peak Blade Runner is when I was born.
They could barely pronounce words in a sentence, barely, and it would have to be.
What?
Wait, what? There was no communication when we were born?
No. Robots. Robots. Technology. I'm talking about technology
okay.
here.
I got lost.
I'm thinking about artificial intelligence here.
All
They
right.
could barely pronounce words.
Yeah.
But that would explain disco. But now progress to today, where there are some movies out there that use artificial intelligence, and you go, wait, oh no, it's definitely a robot. But it takes you a brief pause to think about it.
No.
Now imagine where they'll be at in 50 years.
I don't think.
I think it will be difficult to tell.
I don't think it'll be that difficult.
I disagree with that.
Here's our main problem with AI right now, and this is mainly in. Okay, so for example, I would say the most realistic, unrealistic CGI character in a movie would be Rogue One Tarkin.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, so...
let me continue. And I think that in Rogue One, which is, I think, my favorite Star Wars movie.
Second
it
favorite,
is
absolutely.
amazing.
Yeah,
they did a very, very good job with General Tarkin. General? Commander? Captain?
Grand Moff.
Yeah,
Grand Moff.
Yeah.
Tarkin, where it really... It was really well done. Same with young Leia. It was
good.
very good. The problem that AI has, and
that's
this
not
is in
AI,
but this is in CG. Okay, so it's CG, but also with so CG is the eyes. That the eyes, no matter how realistic they look, there's
the uncanny valley.
You can't.
Mm-hmm.
It's the uncanny valley.
I don't
So
know what that is.
it is a being a figure close enough to being human, but you can tell it's not.
Yeah,
It's uncanny.
It's like in the eyes because there's just something there. But it's I don't know. But for AI, that you don't the realism could possibly be there in 50 years. The realistic look of somebody looking like not in 50 years. Okay. I would say much longer for that realism of like where a robot looks as human as you do and feels as human.
That's the thing.
But it's also that the genuine humanity is. I don't think that is something that you can at all program into a machine using zeros and ones.
Can I walk back humanity really quick and say life? Because you can look at Jackie. And tell us life behind it.
Any life, you can't program it because
we should watch Bicentennial Man.
It's just
too soon.
It's chemical, really, is what it is. It's chemical and electrical.
Okay, but all right. Okay.
So it's not something that.
But machines can be around off chemicals and electricity.
But it's too logical. It's too much of a logic. You can't have the chaos.
So are some people. So are some people. They're too logical.
You can't have the random chaos that comes with a real living thing.
I love that phrase, random chaos. Okay, Mike, what are you thinking?
Okay, I think that in 50 years you could have a AI on the internet that can fool people.
Oh no, you could do that to me in AOL in 1999.
Okay.
Chatbots, man.
Yeah. All right.
Look at all the Russian bots on Twitter.
However, I do not think that you could have an AI. You could not have a Mr. Data knock on your door, come into the house, and you'd be fooled by that. Even the eyes are the window to the soul. Mm-hmm. That is where you can completely tell.
I will make a bet. In 50 years, in the year 2071, if we do not have a cyborg that can walk through your house and convince you it's human, I will in fact take a shot.
In 20 years?
Okay.
50. Okay. 2071.
Okay.
In 50 years?
Yes.
In 50 years?
100%.
I plan on being dead, but in 50 years,
I'll be alive.
I'll be 102.
Right. You can make it.
Yeah, it's doable.
I'm not gonna be 50 years.
I plan to live beyond.
Forgotten.
I plan to live beyond 102, so you'll get there.
I'll be 86.
81. 81's doable.
No, you will not.
81?
86 in 50 years.
You'll be 86
plus 50.
not 81. You'll be 81.
He'll be.
I'll be 81.
He was saying he'll be 81.
That's doable.
Yeah,
that's
really doable. All right.
So
Well, anyway, I just
I take your bet.
I'll take your bet.
Wait,
you're
what was
you're
your
gonna
bet?
be good. If there is not a cyborg that can convince you they're human that
Uh-huh.
can walk through your door, especially when you see now all the time,
Oh,
then
well,
I
that's
would
not-
I would take a shot of whatever liquor is in fashion at the time.
I mean, the thing is like they have to be able to walk in my door and go, that skin looks like human skin, without actually taking it from a human. So let's.
Well,
That-
yeah. I
yeah.
don't think it's possible. in
50,
any-
It's not gonna be-
50
I
years, I
don't-
think so.
Honestly, I don't think it is ever possible, physically, based on science, based on any science. I don't think it is physically possible because I don't think there's anything. I think you can get really close, but I think you'll all, as a real human being, as a real living thing, that you won't be able to tell.
Now, let me.
Now, virtual CGI wise, I
Yes.
think you can
Oh,
maybe
now,
get,
along
I think that's
Get
within
there.
10 years.
along
but
those
real robots,
No.
no.
Along those same lines, let me ask you something that Glory Czar, which is that
Adam.
Adam? Yes, Adam. What Adam brought up. So, what about uploading a consciousness to a server? Is that possible? And if you do, is that you or just a copy of your
See,
memories?
I don't. No, because it can't. It's not going to be able to think for itself. Not in a real way. It would be based on just past and the coding and the logical thought process of the past, and it's not something that would maybe be able to grow or evolve in thought process and be a legitimate
Are we
thing.
talking about AI? Or
like
the
your
uploading?
consciousness, like you're not going to be able to. I don't think I don't see how that could be real thing.
There
Because
is
it is our thought process it's chemical and electrical reactions that are making it happen.
you
It's
keep
not a
wait. You keep saying chemical and electrical, but that's how AI and future AI would
using our
operate.
brains, but it's
Oh, and what
not-
is the brain?
It's not.
What is the brain?
It's a living organism.
How do you describe it? Okay, we're gonna get into this. How do you define living organism?
Oh, that's so deeper than the
Yeah,
podcast.
it's chemical electricity inputs firing rapidly.
Right. I think
But
that
I'm not made by anything else. I'm made just over billions of years of evolution.
Right, so that would just be next step of evolution would be the machine thought and AIs, but living
But
organisms
that's not
creating.
biological.
What's
So-
the definition
so
of
it
biological?
That it can't evolve what we can.
It absolutely
can't
can.
evolve beyond what we make it.
I disagree. I think AI is able to develop AI beyond it.
I-
This is science. This is science fiction 101
not
here.
in a real biological evolutionary
Okay,
way.
yes.
It's because evolution is random, produced by your environment.
Yes,
produced
and
by
yes, and
fucking
wasn't there a Will Smith movie on this?
what, iRobot?
iRobot. That's it.
we're gonna do some improv here. Yes, and
I don't know what my last thought was. It's produced by
Biological
your
input, randomized.
It's randomized, produced by your environment and what's around you.
Okay.
Yes,
all right,
and-
hold on. The question
And
originally was
survival of the
hold on.
fittest.
The question originally was, what about uploading your consciousness?
Oh, right.
I think
No.
It's conversation though.
It's just gonna be
I think that
you at the time.
I think eventually maybe because wait a minute, because electrical because chemical and electrical, it would just be a snapshot, a picture, and so maybe you could upload that. But interpreting what those electrical and chemical signatures mean might be exceedingly difficult.
But our consciousness is not written in zeros and ones.
It is.
It's not.
See, now we're getting into
It's
soul.
not.
It is.
See, this
We're
is what
getting into soul now.
computers are all zeros
That's
and
what
ones.
our brain
it's
is.
all one
Our brain.
Agreed.
single
100%.
language.
Our brain
it's,
is a computer.
It's on and off. It's
But
synapses,
it's not,
on
it's
and
not
off,
the
on
same.
and off,
It doesn't
on and off.
communicate the
It's
same way. It's
DNA
not
connecting to
programmed
represents
in
the
the
on
same
and
way.
off.
See, what the thing is
It's
now,
not-
now we're getting into the idea of a soul, and
There's no soul.
when you say that our brain is more than zeros and ones, now you're getting into
Well, no, it's
metaphysics, it's soul.
It's however the neurons react, but
Which is-
it's
but
not
zeros and ones.
It's chemistry
It's
and
not zeros
electricity.
and ones. That's what
It's on and off.
It's a.
It's the basic. It's the basic language of the universe. Is math? Yes and no.
Yes.
And
yes.
it's.
I don't know how to explain.
It's a fundamental understanding of that functionality.
The basic the language of the universe is math. Yes.
Now, Karen's right. We do not know everything about the brain. We know very little about the brain compared to how it works. It's fascinating, actually, how little we know about the brain, because it is the most complex object in the universe that we know of.
Okay, that we know of.
I'm going to say that.
That we know of.
That we know of.
Hubris.
I'm
good.
I'm honestly, even beyond black holes, I'm good with saying the brain.
Oh no, black holes are the simplest things in the universe. You just need 4 fucking numbers. That's it. So, what?
I'm happy saying the brain is incredibly complex.
It's incredibly complex. But also, she did bring up, can you transplant the brain? Yes, transplant the brain.
All right, philosophers. Let's talk about if you transplant the brain, are you that person or you're the person in the body? Okay, let's skip that.
Are we transplanting the physical brain?
We're
doing what Adam is talking about.
We're gonna skip that. There is a great series on Amazon called Upload, which deals with life after death and uploading consciousness to an afterlife, which is a lot of fun. But that's.
I don't think your consciousness is I don't think it's a tangible thing that could ever be uploaded.
Then does your consciousness refresh itself with each sleep cycle? If it can't be uploaded or reset, I'm just reaching here.
I am going to say that I actually agree with Liz that you cannot upload, but I am coming from it from a physics point of view, where we're just going to go back to Heisenberg. You can't do it.
Yeah. When you're asleep, you're not dead.
Well, okay,
You're
but yeah,
like
I mean,
hibernating.
whereas I believe that that it is ones and zeros, and in theory, the I can't think of the word now. Too many drinks, but in theory, that you would be able to take a snapshot of that. You can't really take a snapshot. Snapshots are grainy. They have pixels, and so you're going to lose some information. And so you can't just upload your consciousness one for one to a supercomputer somewhere and be able to do that. You're going to lose something. You're going to lose.
What are you going to lose?
But
nuance. You're gonna lose some of the information. So
I think that's
giving
giving us way too much credit.
No. I really think, okay, so you're uploading memories, right? So Liz and I go to Disney. We ride Pirates of the Caribbean, and we have the whole thing just goes into our brain. Uploading our consciousness, yeah, you'll get the main picture of what that experience was, but the upload might lose some of the faces.
No. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Because the upload will take in consideration all the other previous memories you've had leading up to this point, which is your existence as memories.
Uploads don't do that. That's not how computers work.
Not
it
yet.
Just uploads direct
Not
data.
yet.
Also,
We're talking science fiction here.
I'm sorry. What is the means of this upload? Also, what are we uploading? What kind of things are we uploading? We're not.
The five senses.
It's not a fucking. It's
You're
not. It's
you're
not.
uploading your memories and
It's not zeros and
experiences.
ones. But what's that format? It's not a ping,
Let
a
me-
JPEG, a whatever.
Well, no,
It's-
but ultimately I think it is zeros and ones.
how do you upload those neurons?
Let
because
me-
they're not.
Let me,
It's
as the
not a
host,
thing.
reel us back here. We're talking about
Alright.
realistic, unrealistic science fiction. And what
Shit, I forgot.
We didn't even talk about like the real looking black hole in Interstellar.
Oh, no.
The real linguistics that went into like the movie Arrival.
The Martian is the most
The
realistic.
Martian growing potatoes on Mars.
It's the most realistic. The only,
Minus the dust storm.
only thing that was not realistic about the Martian was the fucking windstorm. Was the dust storm. That was the only thing that was not realistic about the Martian.
So, I think what we learned in this past conversation is that Liz is pessimistic about the future.
Oh, 100% totally pessimistic. We're all gonna die.
I,
We're not gonna-
Brandon, am optimistic. I believe that there will be tough times ahead, but ultimately that we will continue and
We will
expand
persevere.
and we will persevere, absolutely. And Mike is a realist. He's between us. Like, there's zeros and the ones.
He's a
It may or may not
realist.
happen.
Yeah, he is a realist. You are a realist. Yeah.
But
That's
having said that, okay, I don't hold hope for humanity.
I do.
The dinosaurs died.
They
Not from their own thing.
They didn't have thumbs, man. They didn't have thumbs.
They needed a
And tiny
fucking-
brains.
They needed a
However,
Space program.
a space program.
Our thumbs can actually come right into our fist and extend that index finger out and push the button to annihilate all of humanity. Actually, Contagion is the most realistic movie.
But we have it
because we're
thanks to-
But it's
fucking
not
living
science
it.
fiction. It's not science
Mutually
fiction.
assured destruction, which is not science fiction.
Which
Um,
ultimately, somebody's going to say "fuck it" and they're going to press that button.
all right. We've been here for an hour now, so let me ask the question. Mike, what is your favorite science fiction world?
Oh god.
World.
World.
Universe, world, what have you.
What? I don't.
Or that's, Star Wars, that's Rise and Star Trek, that's Star Trek in general, that's going to Dune, that's Red Mars.
Okay, I get
it's
you.
the Martian universe,
Okay.
whatever have you. So what he's thinking, Liz, what are
I know
some
what
of your
he's
favorites?
gonna. I know what he's gonna think. Look, my favorite and most ideal science fiction world and want for the future would be Star Trek.
Yes.
And because
Yeah, absolutely.
no money, the replicators, the just.
It's
it
the
just-
pursuit of science that
Yeah, and just being able to just like hey, we're all made of the same shit. So let's work together and explore and whatever, and we'll have
Yeah.
conflict with others, of course, naturally. But it's just that it's that level of putting aside that just just the bullshit.
Yeah.
So much of the bullshit that we have now.
I look forward to the day that we become part of the Star Trek universe. I really want the Vulcans to show up.
we got to get warp drive for that, man.
Yes,
Hey, it's a
but,
possibility. It's probable. It's not impossible.
300 years 300 years from now, let's say warp drive is happening, Star Trek could happen. I mean, okay, it won't, but because the Vulcans won't be passing through. I really want the Star Trek universe. I was very disappointed in a YouTube video that we watched where the guy said that the socialism in Star Trek is whatever.
Unrealistic or
Yeah,
whatever,
it's
but
like, come on. To me, it is Star Trek. That's what I want. That's what I hope, and I think that humanity can get there, and that is the optimism that I have. The realism in me is we're going to kill ourselves, but the optimism is, and the hope is, that we will obtain the Star Trek universe. And I don't even care about the Romulans, the Borg,
And that's
the Vulcans. I just want that we're not Americans, we're not Chinese, we're not from England. We're humans. We're humans. That's what we are. We are resident. We're Earthlings. And the sooner that we all fucking understand that,
we're Milky
the
Way.
better.
now we've watched a lot of Star Wars and the Bad Batch and Rebels and Clone Wars and what have you. Humanity is, of course, only one existence should there be other life forms, as Mike was alluding to earlier. So we may have a socialistic utopia, should that be the case, but then the Klingons or Romulans may intercede on that and try to disrupt that idealistic heaven that we're living in.
Okay, I don't say we don't defend ourselves. I mean, there's a difference between socialism, this quote unquote European socialism, where
and it's an odd juxtaposition to think of this utopiistic, and there's a word for that, utopian lifestyle, whereas we still have to develop weapons of mass destruction to defend ourselves. And who, for example, and I understand, I very intimately understand the idea that the people that do not want to build the weapon should be the ones in charge of building that. So I get that, but it's such an odd juxtaposition. Liz has thoughts.
No, I get that.
My problem is just our thought processes on this topic are solely based on our experiences living on Earth and humanity itself and our historic past. Like I think that it is hard and maybe impossible for us at this point to really think outside the planet, the solar system, the galactic box, if you will, and think of other forms of government, other ways of life, other ways of dealing with conflict, or what everything in science fiction is based on our human experience, because we don't have another data point. And so essentially at the root of all things, everything science fiction is all unrealistic, because we don't really know what reality could be beyond our solar system, because we have no experience there. We're too primitive.
One last question to wrap us up here before we hang over, and this is brought to us by Karen earlier in the episode, which I made a thought of it. Let's talk about what science fiction technologies from the past decades have inspired real technologies today. So science fiction is, of course, fiction by definition, but some minds have created these technologies that have permeated today's societies. Communications, GPS, cell phones, text messages.
Science fiction is basically our way of thinking of cool shit that we want to have happen in the future, or things we want to see, or whatever. And then you have the scientists or people that are like, you know what? That's cool. I'm going to go into that field. So, I'm going to figure out how to make that real.
Science fiction is fiction until it's not.
So as a perfect example...
iPads. This iPad. This is total fucking...
Star Trek.
Oh God, I'm not even on the screen. This is total, like... Star Trek, everything.
And as a great example, GPS, the very acronym itself, I think was it Arthur C. Clarke that made that exact acronym?
Global Positioning System?
Yeah, but it was Global something else system. He named it slightly differently. But it was the same idea of satellites going around the Earth to tell people exactly where they're at. That was created by Arthur C. Clarke before satellites even existed.
Yeah, so... In the modern world, I'm not saying this happened in Newton, not that it maybe didn't, but science fuels science fiction, which also kind of fuels in a way, science.
How many people that work within NASA, JPL, whatever areas have you talked to, and said they were directly inspired by Star Trek or by this movie?
I would say everyone I've seen in an interview, they bring up some sort of science fiction.
Even the guy who caught the guy from Mexico who came up with, hey, warp drive could be possible, is he actually said, I got it from Star Trek. And it made me think about it. And here we are having this discussion.
So even behind cameras, when, if I may pull my glasses and talk about myself, while I hung out with astronauts for a while and got to, talk with them in informal settings, they would straight up say, yes, Star Trek and these science fiction ideas were the direct inspiration. And it was so great.
Yeah,
it's a symbiotic relationship,
and it's the same in the planetarium field. You ask a lot of people, Star Trek, Star Wars. These are some of the main inspirations in their life. And for some of the older folk in the planetarium field, it is, NASA landing on the moon. The Apollo mission.
And at one point, Jules Verne wrote the book From the Earth to the Moon, which was the first adaptation of going to the moon. And in that book, he had about the right weight of the capsule, the right size and the right speed, and actually was surprisingly close to the cost that this capsule would take to get to the moon, as you compare it to the Apollo program. So science fiction does very much feed into the realism of today. There is no science without science fiction, and there's no science fiction without science. So it's a beautiful symbiotic relationship which will thrive beyond today. Now, some people are pessimistic, optimistic, or realistic, but either way, they're great stories. So with that, folks, make sure to join us for The Hangover when we talk about, among other things, what is science fiction?
Oh, well, we're gonna get into that.
We're making that transition. We're making that transition.
All
Yes, we
right.
are.
So yeah, join us on YouTube. If you don't want to hang out with us, have yourself a great couple of weeks here. Stay safe. Join us on Twitter, which is @DrinkingCosmos. On Instagram, Cosmos with Cosmos. Feel free to give us a rating on the Apples, the Spotifys,
YouTube.
and trust me, the better ratings we get, the more people we get, the more questions we get,
Is that
and we're just
how it works?
excited to have people come in and join us. So
So cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
We'll see ya.
stay safe.
All right.
Bye.
For those of you watching right now, stick around for the hangover. We will be right back. So hang tight.
alive.
Hi, everybody.
Brandon's just waving for 5 minutes until we're alive.
Hi, everybody. Welcome
He
to
was just doing
Cosmos.
this forever.
I'm doing my best Dr. Nick's impersonation, which is I can't do it anymore. I used to be able to. You know Dr. Nick's from The Simpsons?
No, I didn't watch a lot of
He would go like,
Simpsons.
inflammable means flammable? What a country.
Okay. That sounds like...
Anyway, hi, everybody. Welcome back to Cosmos with Cosmos Hangover Edition. If you happen to miss the episode, this was about science fiction and realistic, unrealistic aspects.
And you missed a really good episode. So
It was
go back
solid.
And listen.
Go back
We
and
had
listen.
fun. We enjoyed it. We were really, we hope you enjoyed it if you were
Oh
there
man,
for
we
it.
talked about everything from Dyson spheres to philosophy
go-
to
it-
electrons.
We really enjoyed it.
It didn't
so.
go in any direction I thought it was going to go, but it,
Nope.
it went places,
Nope.
and I'm into it.
But this direction in The Hangover, which is supposed to be the more directionless aspect of the two, the beginning topic is, what is science fiction
And you were going to
exactly?
extend me an olive branch?
Yes, of course. So yesterday,
Big debate.
We, the Cosmos of the Cosmos crew, went to go see the Green Knight. But before the Green Knight, we went to a little sports bar, and Brandon had an edible to enjoy the Green
You wanna
Knight as
say
much
that?
as possible.
Okay.
Sure, it doesn't
Alright.
matter.
We are currently in Oregon, where
We're
it's legal.
in a place where it's completely legal, and liquor stores are open on Sundays. And we had a discussion about, what is science fiction? What is hard science fiction?
Was it a
Soft science
discussion,
fiction?
or
What
was
is
it just
science
us
fiction?
arguing?
Oh no, Liz and I argued about science fantasy and science fiction. And the topic was Star Wars, whether it's science fantasy and science fiction. Liz was, of course, of the mind of science fiction.
Fantasy science fiction.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
I
he
think
didn't say
it's
that.
both.
I did say that.
I think.
Well,
And
look at that.
and
It's blown over,
I even
folks.
said- I said, and I will claim that all science fiction is fantasy, but not all fantasy is science
She
fiction.
did say that.
I did
She
say
did say
that.
that. I remember her saying that.
Well, shit. There's the olive branch.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's a big Venn diagram on the circular spectrum as to
Okay.
what science
And
fiction, science
that's the
fantasy
hangover,
is.
folks. Hope you
Thanks
guys
for
enjoyed
joining
it.
us.
We'll
That's
see you in
it.
2 weeks.
Problem
So
solved.
let me expand a little more, if I may.
Okay.
So science fiction. Okay, so really quick, going back to the Green Knight. I saw somebody earlier in the chat said, "I am sorry you saw the Green Knight."
Which I would like to expand upon, actually.
Oh, she's gonna go first. Go ahead, expand.
No, I meant I would like the person, Jack. It was Jack to
Oh.
expand upon because okay, the Green Knight.
We went in prepared. We went in
Well,
knowing this was not a heroic.
But I didn't
action
know
film.
how artsy and cerebral it was
Oh.
gonna be.
It was very cerebral.
It was beautiful, and I would like to say because Jack says that they suggested a special brownie would have made the Green Knight much better.
It was.
And let me tell you, yes. If you're gonna go see the Green Knight, you want to be in a state where weed is legal because an edible will definitely make it
James
more enjoyable.
As James Blunt said in his premiere album, "You want to get higigh."
Yeah, you want to get high.
I had to drive, but I do want to go back and see it. It was a
it
really.
was gorgeous.
It was a great movie.
It was beautiful.
There are parts in the movie where I'm
It's
like,
real
oh,
weird.
maybe I should have read stuff.
You're like,
to
what
yeah.
the fuck
get
is happening
context,
right
but,
now?
But it was a
Yeah.
great
costume
movie.
It's a
Design?
great
Oh.
retelling of a medieval poem.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
that's
and
really
the
what you need to
ending-
know.
And the ending, I loved the ending because of the twist with it. The twist
Love
with it.
Love it.
I don't want to say anything because it just came out and.
Well, to be
it's-
fair, it is 700 years old.
Yes, but the movie is not. The movie is 3 days old, but
I mean, it's a combination of three medieval. Well, maybe two
Well,
medieval.
it's the Green Knight.
Well, it's Sir Gawain and the
Legendium.
Green Knight. It's a combination actually because it has aspects of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight
yeah,
and
because we
Now-
the Green Knight that I Wikipedia'd
Now,
on
Liz over
last
here,
night.
Wikipedia, whereas
So I'm
I
an expert.
had an undergraduate degree where I studied the Green Knight, but she's got it.
Oh shit! Really? You could? Oh wow. Okay.
Look,
Okay.
all right.
Love it.
Anyway,
Love it.
anyway,
And
anyway.
So welcome to The Hangover.
It is
Good
great.
Green Knight, not
what,
science fiction.
What were we talking about?
And then we followed it up with
Is
jiu-jitsu.
Oh
Star
my
Wars,
God.
Is Star Wars science fiction? That's what
Okay,
we're-
so science fiction has a variety of definitions. It could be posing the question, what if? What if automobiles were never invented? What if we had technology for warp drive? It is a what if of
Yeah,
technology.
but
and
it's rooted in science.
Well, yes,
tries to
yes,
be.
yes,
It
and
wants
no.
to be. It thinks it is.
Now,
It thinks, yeah.
now this was just the first part. The second part of science fiction is how does that how does that technology impact society? And now that is the umbrella for the story told within the science fiction universe. Because, of course, any story, whether it's science fiction, whether it's fantasy, whether it's just pure, dramatic fiction, revolves around the characters and those stories. So you always have the story and those characters.
You gotta relate to it.
Of course, you got to relate to it and, feel. You
That's
got to feel things.
That's why we're watching the movies, is to,
Now, these characters are within this what-if world of technology. That is basically science fiction. It's not just jetpacks and boosters. It's, okay, what if this story was happening, and then there were also jetpacks and boosters? Are we all good with that?
Yeah. It's like in the main episode you brought up Blade Runner, whereas Blade Runner is filmed in the 80s, and when you watch it, the original Blade Runner, not the sequel
2049.
which is also very good. It is, you can
Got you, Jack.
you can watch it and totally know that it's made in the 80s. Like, this has total 80s
But at the
feel.
time...
But while you're watching it, you still do get a futuristic sense.
Yeah.
There are still things
And then there's retro science fiction as
know.
well that goes back to Jules Verne, as we talked about in the main episode, From the Earth to the Moon, or 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea, in which at the time, in the 1860s, this was science fiction.
I mean, I think that science fiction is just alternate humanity, alternate way of life, that we don't have using certain things, whether it be technology, it's futuristic, or it's but it has some science aspect to it, but it's just it's kind of like either an idealized or kind of like hey, this is weird, but it's just kind of like living our lives in a weird way. In a different way. In a way,
a fictional way.
A way that is more, I don't know.
Fictional?
I don't know.
More fictional?
I
Fictional,
do think,
but not where Lord of the Rings is
no, Lord of the
very
Rings
fantasy.
fantasy.
Where it's very fantasy, but because it has a medievalness to it, but also a supernaturalness to it.
Right. So to me, Star Wars, mixture of both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good with
which I guess we have come to terms with.
It is a mixture of both.
It's a mixture of both.
Because it has lasers.
And space wizards. Thank you.
It is fantasy in that it has space wizards and mythical creatures. Mythical creatures by our standards, and that they are just aliens.
Yeah.
But,
there's a difference between your Balrog and your fucking.
Oh, well done. Then we gotta take a drink.
Yeah,
This is Lord of the Rings.
For that.
But anyway, it's a mixture of both, because you do have this. You have space wizards. You can just pour it in front of the microphone. We're in the hangover, so.
Show them. Your mom's not here.
No. All right. So Liz is pouring her drink, and she knows that just.
Wait. What drink is this?
Oh, it's a amaretto sour.
Amaretto sour. What are you calling it for the science fiction? Quickly, think of it.
We didn't come up with two names.
Titan Haze. Titan's Haze.
I didn't think.
Look at that methane haze.
It's called a fucking always bring your towel.
Always bring. Well, no. You've used that before.
No,
I know you have.
No,
we've done 50 episodes.
Not as a drink name.
I know you've done this before.
Not as a drink name.
Not as a drink name.
As a drink
One
name.
day when we have 10,000 listeners, they will go back and listen and approve me
thumbs
right.
up. Same thing. Thumbs up. I don't. Okay, there it is. There's a cam. All right. No, I think it's a mixture of both. You have space wizards.
Yeah.
Star Wars space
Tachyon
wizards.
Pulse. There you go.
And that's Star Trek, but you have space wizards, but then you have fucking Death Star with death lasers.
I mean, it's called Death Star. Yeah, that's really it.
Yeah, I mean, anytime there are lasers involved in some form of combat or
lasers
blowing up a planet.
Let me point.
Or just
Lasers.
Are they lasers?
Or just lasers that are in space.
I have a
science
question
fiction.
though.
Yeah,
Are
let's
they
do it, Mike.
lasers?
Let's do it, Mike.
Because when a
know.
stormtrooper shoots
Pew.
his laser, pew,
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 pew.
pew, 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 you can actually follow the laser go, which is not the speed of
There's
light.
a start and there's okay.
All right.
Okay.
Everybody.
So there's when you think of a stormtrooper shooting a blaster, there's a start and a finish, which
Yeah.
means there's a described area in which this light is traveling from. But Jedi's can, of course, block with lightsabers, so it's very viewable. It's not the speed of light. But it has force, a significant force behind it. It's not just cancer force, which is what the sun sends out, which is cancer force.
Cancer force?
There's some kind of force that will propel you beyond, which tells me that this force that has impact behind it cannot, by the laws of nature, travel at the speed of light because it has this amount of force behind it. So it has to go slower. Is that right? Yes. I'm going to take that as a yes.
I'm sorry. I was busy with Jack's comment, which is my hangover drink is a liquid Jaffa cake. Blood orange and dark chocolate with a caramel drizzle.
You know what I'm going to call that?
Holy shit.
It sounds like a Java cake, which I'm going to call this a Watini. It's a Watini! Yeah,
Isn't it
okay.
Watidi? Watidi?
I thought it was Watini.
Watidi?
What did you call it?
Watidi?
With an N?
Like a
Wantini?
D. There's a D.
Oh,
Like
Watini.
Watidi.
I always thought it was Watini.
Like a D. There's a D.
Mike, what do you
there?
think? There's no wrong answer.
No, I'm going to go with Liz on this
Of
one.
course.
That's why you put a ring on it.
Watini!
So, what were we talking about?
Or a teehee.
The blasters of the stormtroopers having mass
Oh.
behind it, so it cannot be at the speed of light.
Well-
it has to go considerably slower.
Well,
there's
yeah,
a significant mass
because
behind it.
because when they get hit, they act like they've been hit by a
Oh.
bullet. They
Is that-
actually get knocked backwards. It has some force behind it.
Yeah, unless you're a hunter, in which case you'll be fine.
Oh.
Different subject.
Yeah, so no, it does have force behind it.
Okay.
One of the coolest scenes though is when Kylo actually stops it.
That was fucking cool.
That was awesome.
That's what Jaffa's from. Stargate. I was like,
Okay.
Jaffa's a reference. What the fuck
Yes.
is it from? Stargate.
Also,
Oh, aren't Star Wars blasters just mini personal ion blasters?
yeah.
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 No, that's exactly what it. For future reference, I want to point out the possible first rule for the podcast. The first time we say fuck. I don't think we said fuck at all during the podcast.
No,
Did
we
we?
have. I said
We
it.
have.
Oh, we
I'm
did?
I said it.
sure.
Okay.
It just comes
Fuck it.
out natural.
Yeah, that's the
flow.
thing. That's the best rule. The first fuck.
We have
The
to
first-
remember
I
it.
can't
We have to
remember.
remember
I
this
can't
fuck.
remember
though.
that. I can't remember that.
No, we have to write our rules down. They have to be on like on a
Because
piece
we,
of
we
paper.
don't we
in
don't
front
say fuck until like we're significantly inebriated. That's like the fifth time said
know.
significantly.
Or-
I feel
no?
like I curse like a
No.
sailor, but
of us. Or that we want to emphasize something.
yeah.
Yeah.
What was that show that we watched? It had Nicolas Cage in it.
Jujitsu?
No,
Not
well, no,
jujitsu.
no, don't watch.
Don't watch the
Don't
movie.
watch Jujitsu.
The movie Jujutsu.
Oh my God, no! It
It's-
was. What is it? A history of cursing or?
Probably
oh,
history
yeah.
person.
Yeah,
That was fun.
They talked about fuck. It's great.
If you
Well,
curse,
and
that
also-
shows a
It
higher
is-
level of intelligence.
Yeah,
Well, and-
shit and fuck are the two words where you
Well-
can really just use it interchangeably
the
for
fuck
all
out
of
of him.
things.
Don't
You
don't
use the shit fuck out
Positive, negative, it's just
of it. Goes
yeah.
both ways.
don't forget about South Park, Bigger, Better, Uncut. Fuck is the worst word that you can say. Fuck is the worst word that you can say. Fuck is the worst word that you can say.
What about cunt?
Well, cunt's a little below fuck. They're related. They're
Cunt's
they're
my
cousins.
favorite curse
They're
word.
cousins.
If you-
What's your favorite curse word, Mike?
As a
Okay,
female.
all right. Well, I use fuck most of the time, but if you really wanted to, if you're really pissed off at somebody, cunt. Doesn't matter what sex or gender identity, you're a cunt. Cunt really.
I think that the most curse word I use by myself when I'm by myself when I'm like curse something is Jesus fuck. Or no shitballs. I use shitballs a lot.
Shitball.
I use shitballs.
I
a lot
use shitballs
too.
a lot.
I think fuck and then like shit or shitballs.
And then Jesus fuck. I use that quite a bit.
I've never used Jesus fuck.
You should.
I should because that just takes fuck to the next level.
Jesus fuck. Oh, that's a godly amount of fuck. But beyond that, let us get back to the story at
Welcome
hand,
to the
which was
hangover.
science fiction. Any future employers, please put that aside.
Or current employers. I
Or
don't know.
current. It doesn't at this point.
And I don't care, current employers, whatever, fuck it.
What's up, Greg? So
I told him I was doing this.
what is science fiction? So I always go to you first. So Mike,
I don't know.
what is the most scientific world you can think of? The most scientific world. Not the most scientific world you want to live in or the one you don't. What is like the highest scientific existence of the worlds you've read or watched or heard about?
What? Movie?
Movie, book, what have you.
I just think The Martian is just so...
What a good answer.
What?
I said, what a good answer.
I mean, it's so rooted. Okay, the only issue, and I forgive this 1,000,000,000%.
The dust storm.
Because
Dust storm.
it is a plot device.
Even Andy Weir said that this doesn't make sense, but it had to happen just for
Yes.
the story. Which is where we got back to the science fiction, is the story
So,
with technology around it.
If you have not seen The Martian, you should see it. But it is...
It's been a long time.
It is a movie
It's good. I haven't seen it in a while.
rooted in science, and
We
it
should
does
watch it.
begin with a dust storm, and it just cannot. Okay.
Oh, wait a minute.
This is not a spoiler because you've had years to see it.
Or,
We've talked about it so many times.
or does it start with an earthquake?
Birds,
Birds,
snakes,
snakes,
airplanes.
and
Yeah,
then
it's the end of the world as we know it. Yes.
But it starts with a dust storm, aerosol, and Matt Damon.
But you know what? I feel fine. I just need some time alone. That's all. All right, but anyway, so the only issue with that movie is the dust storm, but everything else is Matt Damon is
Sciencing the
his
shit out of
character
things.
is sciencing the shit out of it.
Which, if you have not read the book, go read the book. Because there are formulas in the book, and it's glorious. And so half the book is just, okay, the one issue beyond the storm I had with the movie is that within the book, about 100 pages are dedicated to getting from the original base to the next launch site. And there's like 100 pages of drama, which I get the movie can't expand into 5 hours for. But I so loved seeing, I forget his name. I always think of just Matt Damon. What's his name in the book?
I
the
don't
movie?
remember.
Oh shit! What is his name? It's Matt Damon.
It's Matt Damon.
It's Matt Damon. Seeing Matt Damon deal with his rover, getting his solar panels and food and potatoes and making sure nothing dies. Like, I love that stretch in the book. So go read that. It's glorious and great.
Yeah, for me it's The Martian, but some people say the Andromeda Strain, but I haven't seen it to actually be able to say anything.
This
about
is
it.
not my favorite science fiction, but I'm going to say it just because we're all going to go, yeah, that makes sense. I'm going to lean closer to the mic for this one. Jurassic Park.
Oh, Jurassic Park.
Science fiction.
It is science
100%
fiction.
science fiction.
Totally science
It is.
fiction.
Yeah, there's no. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? We could
Yeah.
fucking do it. We could do it today.
Cloning technology.
And in
Isn't it
fact-
by the same author of Andromeda Strain? Wasn't that Michael Crichton?
Michael Crichton.
Michael
Yeah.
Crichton,
Who
yeah.
ended up being a right-wing nut job.
Well,
But he's like,
okay.
he has a
so,
medical background, which
so
ties
like
into
Ender's
Andromeda
Game, you can
Strain.
still enjoy the stories they tell.
Well, no. I
views.
completely enjoy it,
Oh, yeah.
and you can look at Jurassic. I was gonna say Jurassic Planet, but that was a Planetarium show.
That's also a movie now.
No, Jurassic World.
Jurassic World.
That's a
and
movie as well.
Jurassic
so
Planet movie?
no, it's a Planetarium show. Anyway, Jurassic World is the movie, but Jurassic Park. Oh, you can completely see that happening today because there are
100%.
capitalists in the world today.
Capitalism.
So
They're going,
I was recently
Oh,
in
yeah.
I was recently up in upstate New York, which is I guess what fancy people say is upstate New York. And I went to a museum at a university, and within that, they legitimately have mosquito frozen in the amber.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing you think of when you see amber
Jurassic Park.
with insect inside of it is Jurassic Park. So
Yeah.
so it's not that it's just science fiction. Is that we have this mosquito frozen in the amber glass, ready to be extracted.
Mm-hmm.
It's just and we have cloned woolly mammoth DNA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's true. We have prehistoric DNA that has been
Okay, let me-
fertilized,
Jurassic Park
that's been frozen.
Jurassic Park's the example right there. That's the example.
Except the T-Rex is not the hero. Would not be the hero.
Okay,
And all
let
the
me-
dinosaurs
let
would
me
kill everybody.
let me ask you this. I'll go with Liz
There's a
first.
reason why we evolved after the
Yes.
extinction
Liz.
event from the...
We have cloning. We have the ability to recreate woolly mammoths, possibly dinosaurs. We can
Okay.
create AI, which will push our
Sky-
beliefs of
Skynet,
what is
people.
human and what is not.
Skynet.
Let me ask you this. Is there ever a point where science goes too far?
Yeah. So
What's the
many
point?
Points. All of them.
What?
Like the Skynet, fucking Jurassic Park. Like we look. These movies show
What
these
if-
these movies show these consequences because I would say, as a species in general, we know ourselves.
No.
We know kind
Agree.
of what path we're gonna take with shit and how it's going to fuck us over. Because if we look at like Skynet, I know you want to say something, but I'm talking right now. So, if
Have
you
I
look
said the
at-
word?
No, but
No!
you're making facial expressions.
I'm
and
getting
okay.
myself
business.
ready. I'm getting ready.
Okay, you can't. No.
All right, but like if you look at Skynet and the evolution of AI, we build the AI with our intrinsic humanistic properties to it, which currently on our current evolutionary status is still an us versus them
Yeah.
mentality. So it is totally plausible that we make AI go too far where it's going to kill us all because it can think faster, because it's a computer. It can think faster than our brains can, and then it can kill us all. And then cloning, yeah, if we have the chance to make fucking dinosaurs, of course we're gonna fucking do that, and of course we're gonna turn that into a fucking money-making amusement park and shit, and people are gonna die. Like,
Yeah.
there is a point where we can go too far because that's what we do.
But let me posit you this.
Okay.
As a
All right,
push my
thanks.
glasses back
Here
up.
you go. Fucking
If I may bring to your attention the 19th century American bison, the early 20th century American bison, and one of the great hobbies of the rich folk was to travel on these American railways and shoot the bison from the trains and just see their bodies fall and say, I
Yeah.
killed it, and keep going.
Okay.
They go extinct. What if we bring them back? Is that too far?
Yeah, because we're just gonna kill them all over again.
What if we don't?
What-
What if we say, hey, don't shoot them from trains?
We're gonna find another way to shoot him. There's gonna be a loophole in shooting shit.
This is this is an ethics question, and there's a reason why that when cutting edge science, and by cutting edge science, I'm talking about biology. I know you want to say something.
I'm gonna hold this.
I'm gonna
position
hold
until-
something too.
until it's my turn. Go for it.
and
First and
that
second.
is why when it comes to like cutting edge biology and stuff like that, ethicists, people that
Ethicist.
are knowledgeable in ethics,
Ethicists.
If only.
Yeah.
they actually have a comment, and it wasn't. I mean, it was a decade ago. The Chinese did something, and the
It was less than that.
ethics people, and it had to do with DNA.
It was less than that.
Yeah, and you know, ethicists blew up about it.
We can pause it. We can look at Nazis in World War II.
Whoa! Hey, what's up,
And
Godwin?
Eugenics and the experimentation on children and
All right,
that
folks, we-
and that research from the Nazis with inhumane methods experimenting on children, twins, etc. is currently in modern medical textbooks that people learn from today.
Welcome to Godwin's Law.
But oh shit, what was I gonna say? God damn it!
I think
had
you
a
were going to
real
say,
good-
if
I
only
had
there
a
was
real
somebody
good-
amongst us that had a master's in science technology policy that could help us guide us through this forest of difficulties.
Okay.
Jack says the dinosaurs just need Suicide Squad's neck explosives.
We need
Okay,
more
that
weasels
was-
in this group.
We need more weasels.
You-
More fucking weasels.
Why did the weasel have to die so soon?
Because he's fucking
It was
creepy
unexpected.
and nightmare-inducing.
He'll be in Suicide Squad 2.
He was comedic relief.
He was the core of Suicide Squad. He was the cornerstone.
He was comedy, and you replaced. Okay.
Okay, what were you talking about before? Because I really want to get my point in that I was gonna make, but I can't remember now.
Chinese ethics. Reason why we have
Damn it.
ethics people looking at science.
I don't.
Some
remember.
people that studied that for their profession for a while.
Long time.
I
Yeah, I don't
for me
remember.
What's
personally-
going
I
on?
don't remember.
For me personally, and this is me personally, I don't have an issue bringing back the American bison or whatever it was.
I know what my point
because
was.
we killed them.
I know what my point was.
It's not like we're bringing back a T-Rex.
What we got, Liz?
This was here 100 years ago.
Liz is chomping at the bit.
I know.
The realistic horror movie.
Oh.
Okay.
Hostel. Where it's rich people paying to hunt other human beings.
Well, yeah, that
who
happens.
are poorer and staying in hostels and whatever.
Let
Like
me ask you
this is realistic enough to me where Hostel is actually a scary movie to me.
Let me ask
where
you
I can
this.
see it happening.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. How do you think Jeffrey Epstein died?
Oh God. Okay. No. Why?
Human hunting. Because he was in...
Honestly, he killed himself. There's no way that with his stature that he wants to fucking deal with a trial and that shit. He fucking killed himself.
Okay. First of all.
He knows he's a horrible shit human.
In all honesty, why are we even giving him the air in this?
You're right. Done.
This
Enough.
needs to be cut out.
Cut out.
I
done.
don't think it's...
Nope.
No.
Done.
No. I think.
It's the idea.
It doesn't
no,
matter.
No conspiracies.
It doesn't matter.
No
He's dead one way or the
conspiracy
other.
zone.
Look,
It doesn't
No
matter.
conspiracy
Look.
zone.
All these motherfuckers can rot in hell.
It doesn't matter.
It needs to be cut out.
Done.
All right.
Anyway, continue.
Welcome back.
Jurassic Park. Realistic, unrealistic, science
Oh, it's
fiction,
completely realistic.
science technology policy person. If only there's somebody here that could do that.
Jurassic Park.
I would go to Jurassic Park and I would know that I would probably die, but God, to see a fucking dinosaur.
I would go
They
too.
didn't talk to any ethicist or any risk management person. They talked to nobody about the island.
'Cause
No.
capitalism.
Yeah, capitalism. Jurassic
No,
Park. No, Jurassic
Google has
Park
ethicists?
is
Not-
realistic on so many levels. From the science and that you could do it. From the capitalists that they will do it.
Two thoughts. Number one, had they coordinated with professionalists and realized that this is a mistake, they would have realized we shouldn't fucking do this. Number two, COVID and people that don't wear masks, so nothing matters. Is what I'm getting at. We look at 28 Days Later or any zombie movie, and we think how bullshit of it. I'm talking, Liz. I'm talking, Liz.
Oh,
Oh shit!
28
No!
I'm been silenced by Ben my whole life. Shut the fuck up.
Oh shit!
28
you will be
days.
murdered in your sleep.
And I know where you sleep. 28 Days Later is not a zombie movie. It's an infection movie.
Oh, that is true.
Same
That
shit.
is true.
It's same fucking
Not
shit.
the same shit.
Same shit.
Oh, well
Similar.
then.
And the
well,
line
then,
I'm making.
Well, then The Walking Dead is infection. It's not a zombie.
It's a zombie movie.
Because The
And a
Walking
TV show.
Dead it does not refer to the zombies. It refers to the living. Because we were.
Ooh.
With the
It
points.
does.
The
It
points.
does. The Walking Dead is because when all right, so let's say we're living in the Walking Dead universe, and when we're alive right
we're
now,
Walking Dead.
we're all infected. It is a virus or whatever, and that we die,
Deltron
we become
30.
zombies. What?
I said like Deltron 3030. They're gonna devise
Anyway,
a virus.
we're getting way.
Oh,
What
well, this
I
is
was
Hangover.
getting at.
All right, continue, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. As I gather my thoughts again, because I forgot what I was going to say.
Zombies.
Thank you so much. What I was getting at is that even if we know X to be absolutely true and that X will kill everybody, there's still a group of people that believe Y that is different than what is truth.
That
we're living it.
why is money, and that
No, not only money.
Uh.
I can't even say money because there are so many people that believe X conspiracies without money being, given
that's
to
just
them.
ignorance. That's just our shitty
But
education system in the United States.
unfortunately, there is, and it's difficult to parse what is ignorance and what is money at this point. It's a huge gray area. And so the point is, as Carl Sagan would say, demon haunted the world or variety of messages, the idea of science literacy is so low, not just in this country, but in general, because information, not correct information, but information in general, is so easy to access. It is easy to believe because they can create stories behind it, and they can create the people that they don't like that can show stories that say, hey, these people have, pedophile rings beneath a pizza store, and they believe it.
Okay, all right. For Tucker Carlson, it is money. And it is a small number of people. It is a small number of people.
So why is he still on the air?
That
I think it's small.
Right or left.
Money.
But I'm going to say predominantly right. I'm really trying to shoot in the middle of this here because I don't want to be sued. But it's all about money, and I firmly believe they fundamentally don't fucking believe it.
They're definitely.
However, for the masses, it is ignorance.
Yep.
And that is the most dangerous part.
I agree with you, Liz.
It goes to...
She's about to. She's about to.
Look,
I know what she's going to say.
The root of that is really education.
Mm-hmm.
And that is because as humans biologically and how our brain develops and when we are learning shit and how our brain is evolving and how fast technology has advanced in a short period of time, that we haven't been able to adequately... Our educational system is not competent enough to adequately educate people how to properly analyze sources critically think about sources. So whereas like when I'm growing up and when I'm in college, really, because at this where it was like you can't use Wikipedia at a source because anyone can edit Wikipedia.
Right.
It's not a primary source document.
But
we all use it.
Because hold on, Brandon, I know. Because when my degree is in secondary education, emphasizing in history. So because of that, I had to take a lot of history courses, whereas in history, it is you have primary source documents, which are your number one valid source of information because they're written by people who were living and experiencing what was happening at the time that it was happening. And then you have secondary, whereas people who knew people who lived during the time something was happening. And then you have tertiary, third person sources, tertiary sources, that are people who are basically getting their information from secondary and primary sources. They're not connected really at all to what was happening. Right. They're basing it off of sources that they have found. Okay, and our ability to critically think about the sources that we're gaining our information from, what were they there, were they not there, is it hearsay, that sort of thing. We're not adequately educating the youth to be able to comprehend and understand those sources, which leads to an abundance of accepting misinformation as information.
And that is that is not the teacher's fault. That is the fault of the legislature.
No. And I am going to only say that the only thing I disagree with you on that is that you said youth. Because hold on.
She knows.
Yeah.
We have a neighbor. And we do just nod our head, and really and truly we should stop doing this. But our neighbor one time was talking about masks, or no, he was talking about they were talking about vaccines, and they said basically, it really was I heard from a friend who were from it was a game of telephone is really what it was, and completely well said.
Yeah,
because what you said was well said.
It's just that has been not and especially in the uprising of the digital age, so to speak, it's been a lot harder, and we haven't been, and schools and our educational system in general is not funded enough to really put a prevalence of, like, hey, here's how you can look at your sources.
Right.
Here's how you can analyze that and
But
critically think about that and question that.
I think that the powers that be don't
They don't want you to.
They don't want you to, because ignorance is easier to control.
Well, yeah.
Can we say the line? Can we say the line?
Go ahead.
Ignorance is bliss.
But ignorance leads to Hitler.
But that's
And
that's
Hitler,
why you have Nazis burning books. That's why you have a once the Bible.
I was going to make a great Star Wars reference, but you just talked over me, which is fine because you're not real.
The Bible, once the Bible, the printing press was invented, because it was a huge invention, because then the Bible could be printed in different languages, and then people could interpret the Bible in a different way.
Right.
And therefore you have this, oh, wait a minute, but that's not how I'm interpreting it based on what I'm reading.
And that's why the printing press was the greatest invention ever, because it expanded everything for everybody.
I'll go with that.
It expanded everything for everybody. It gave equal access if you could read
Equaler.
Yeah, access to information. And so that's why I am so conflicted by the internet.
Yeah, because it's
because the internet allows me to have, because I live in a free country that is not, say, China or North Korea, I have access to lots of avenues of information.
Now,
the problem is that our neighbor has access to a lot of avenues of information that are just so incorrect.
But that's liberal propaganda.
It's that.
Yes.
It's the inability to. It's the way we're not to understand and process and critically think about that information that we're ingesting.
How many times?
And going, oh wait, let me take this piece of information.
I have to wear a mask now.
And let me look at a different source.
Let
me.
Of course.
I have a little bit here.
You can go now.
So
yes,
you were getting right. You were getting right to it, which I interrupted you, of course. So continue.
No, it's fine. No, you continue because I talked a lot.
Please. Okay. Please.
So this is a source that you trust, but this is a bit of information that sounds kind of incredulous to you. So maybe you should go research it a little bit more. So it's how do you research it?
Yeah,
what sources are
methods.
trustworthy?
Yeah.
And even if it's a source that you deem trustworthy, and this sounds kind of off, how then do you go to back it up? How do you cite the sources?
I
how
don't
do you look
even
into
think,
it?
I think that in today's world, you don't even trust the source that you quote unquote trust.
I have an idea.
No, hold on. Because you might be reading something from CNN. And to me personally, CNN is a trusted news source. However, maybe I should see if the BBC backs it up. The BBC, entirely different country, or maybe even CBC, Canadian Broadcasting.
Maybe they all are getting it from the same source. Maybe the source is not true.
Okay, all right. Well, there's not anything to do about that. But however, though, I know that there are partisan. Oh, is it already time?
It's about that time.
Okay.
No, it's not.
It's
Oh, what are you doing, Winter?
And for everybody listening, Winter
Okay.
was meowing.
The
But
cat,
anyway,
yes.
Because he thinks he's going to get fed. He's got an hour and a half.
Wait. Jack.
As drag queens doing spoken word poetry practice tonight, yes! Have fun, Jack.
Liz, can I put a dress on of yours and do spoken word poetry?
Yeah, you could probably
would
actually
you-
fit in.
would
I
you be
got
able to fit
I
in?
got a sundress in there. You
Can I
could
fit it? Are you disrespecting my
he
body?
could totally fit in it. Yeah.
Anyway, have fun, Jack. Okay, what was I talking about? There are certain affiliates where I realize that it's partisan, and to be honest, MSNBC, it is left leaning. Mm-hmm. It is left leaning, and so you're gonna get a spin on that. OAN, Fox, and any of the right wing places. You can't trust them.
Something that was starting to be taught when I was in, I don't know if I was in high school or when I started college, but that really what you want to look for is you want to look at your .orgs, your .edus,
yeah,
and or .govs even, like those are your sources.
Even .govs at this point, they're kind of
but like your .org,
that's a long story.
Especially
Maybe
your
4 years ago.
You wanna
1 year
those
ago.
are
Well, 1 year ago, yeah.
those are the are most likely going to be the most accurate or reliable sources versus a .com. And then if you're looking at something online that is, you want to look at what sources they're citing, and then go look at those sources. Even in Wikipedia, if you're looking at Wikipedia, it has, at the bottom, it has where they're getting this information. You can go look at that, and you can kind of see, does this look reliable? Especially if it's something that's like scientific, you want to look at, is this in a legitimate scientific journal? Like, is this being pulled from something that has a reputation behind it for being accurate and trustworthy, and so forth?
I agree.
Okay.
Two things. How does the regular citizen expend the energy to trust what journal is reputable or not?
Well, I mean,
that's so hard.
No, it's not, though. But it's not hard.
Wait, how?
Because all they need to do is take the effort instead of just reading what they first
couple
see.
things.
Yeah.
Wait.
It is going
Let me get this.
let me look further into it, and let me look at what these.
How?
Because you can look at like the Journal of Nature, the journal. You just have to do the research.
Let me ask. Even within the Journal of Nature, for example, there have been stories that have been refuted by other scientific journals saying this isn't right.
So you look at that.
But how far down is the average person? So, for example, I get home. I have an hour plus commute. I get home. I play my. I don't. No. You don't care. But in general, I'm just saying, some random person. They have a long commute. They make dinner. They care for the kids, and by then it's 8:30. How far down the rabbit hole do they have to go?
See,
that shouldn't have to happen. The regular person shouldn't have to do 2 hours of research a night. They should be able to trust a journal.
Okay, you can blame Reagan.
But you generally can, though, if it's a reputable journal like.
But even Nature can't be trusted all the time. Once in a while they slip because they ran by humans, and humans, of course, err. So where is the line you draw?
Another source.
How many? But if you just this is a lot of fun. Number one, this is a lot of fun.
Look, it comes down to the person and how much you're willing to accept as
let me ask
factual
you this.
and
Liz,
true based on the expertise behind it.
Agreed.
Versus how,
Liz,
it's your level of acceptance as a person.
You personally, how many scientific journals have you done research into to confirm their biases?
I mean, it was probably... when I was in college.
So how can they be trusted if you only look into them when it's your grade online?
If Phil Plait writes something, I'm probably going to trust it because I know that
but the average person,
hold on. No. The average person might accept Phil Plait. We're not talking about the average person. We're talking about 10% on either side of this bell curve that is of society. Oh yeah, we're still on.
Yeah, we're going.
We do this every dinner. Let's do this.
No. Okay. So the problem started with Reagan, where Reagan just pour it in there.
Oh well, the problem started beyond Reagan, but let's continue with. Reagan's a good starting point. Reagan is a good starting point.
Ronald Reagan codified it and allowed the Fox Newses to be partisan, and allowed the MSNBCs to be left-leaning or right-leaning, and basically turned news, quote-unquote news, into opinion.
That wasn't up to the politicians. That also was and it wasn't. It's a confusing story.
So,
look,
the problem is that our neighbor does not want to watch something or believe something that infringes upon his preconceived beliefs of how the universe is, and also does not want to believe in anything that might attack how they are in the position they are in society. You first. You gotta roll us back in, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do next.
This is why I highlighted youth, because for for people like our neighbor and for those like us who basically grew up in this time where the prevalence of the internet was so new and just coming up, and we're still kind of dealing with how to operate shit, and whatnot. It's different because we didn't have the ability to really have that educational background to know what sources to look at, how to critically think about the internet and what you're reading on there, whereas the youth, children that are in elementary school, middle school, high school today, that we should have as a country, and I'm going to say U.S., just specifically on us, as a country and as school districts, because every school district runs themselves, because we can't get our shit together as a fucking nation to have just fucking education blanket across the entire states, because Common Core math is shit. But anyway.
They moved me on Common Core, by the way.
We need to have for the youth of today, because they're born in and growing up in this internet age where information is so readily available and accessible. You don't need to know a Dewey Decimal System and go to a library to find out what you need to know. You can just have a fucking iPad or a cell phone and type in what you want to Google. That our educational system needs to build in those proper research and critical thinking abilities and techniques to recognize, hey, let's look at the source. Who is writing this article? Is it somebody that has a background in X, Y, Z? Where are their political leanings? You have to know the biases behind what is being written, and you have to understand where the source is coming from.
Yeah, it's the problem.
As the host! Shut
up! That needs to be fundamental into our educational system in order to create those critical thinker, just to establish those critical thinking abilities in the internet age. All right.
Amen. Amen. Yes. Fucking yes. Yes. No, go ahead. Whatever.
As the host of the podcast!
You're blowing out the audio.
As the host of the podcast on this August the 15th of 2021. It is the 15th indeed. That's why Mike will not choose what is on the TV this evening.
Not an even day.
Oh, yes.
I can 100% agree. Literally, everything Liz said. If we can go back to science and science fiction, as Winter is yelling at us, there is no one humanity thought that is correct. It takes not just a village, but a collection of villagers to ignite each other to say what is correct.
Don't say that.
I'm going to say that.
No, it is.
Because let me bring it even further back. So we talked about what technologies we accept as a society to progress forward, whether it's warp drive, whether it is transportation, or not transportation, but teleportation. At what point do we say, no, this is not right? That is exactly what the Amish are doing. To bring it back even further, the Amish say what technologies in their society they accept and which technology do not.
No.
So
it's based on religious principles.
Let me continue. Stop. Yes, I agree. Let me continue. So, we can think of Jurassic Park. There is a point in cloning that we as a society has said, no, we cannot clone human beings, which is exactly what the Amish do, that this technology is off limits and we cannot contribute towards it, which is like human cloning. So, like Amish, for example, there is a point in technology which we as society, whether that is the leading country, whether that is China, Russia, a variety, a consortium of smaller countries say this is not correct, that we will not proceed upon. There is a point where there is a warp drive, a cloning, a lightsaber, that we say, as a society, this is not correct. So we do not contribute towards, like human cloning. So when I think of science fiction, I think of a world beyond limitations. where funding is not an issue, where ethics apparently doesn't exist, where they can continue beyond the world and ignite the future they desire, which is what makes great stories. Our society may not progress towards that because we have limitations of that technology. Who has thoughts towards that? And keep it within 3 minutes because we're going to end within 3 minutes. 3 minutes, minute and a half. Liz, go.
Okay, I
Minute and a half.
I do not hold hope for society.
I do.
I really want
At this
Star
rate.
Trek. I really want Star Trek. The reality of the situation is that there is going to be somebody who does the woolly mammoth, who then does. We've already done on Dolly the sheep, which is then going to be Wooly the mammoth, which is going to be eventually a T-Rex, which is going to be a amusement park, right here in Salt Lake City, probably in the future. I don't think that humanity with capitalism it has ethics. Capitalism at its core does not have ethics, and you know, you can crucify me for saying that. I don't give a shit.
All right, Liz.
At my age, I don't give a shit.
Liz, go.
I would 100% agree that capitalism does not have ethics at all, because it's rooted in one principle, and that is money, and that is profit. Yep. So it's once we evolve beyond that need for money, that extrinsic reward as a species versus an intrinsic reward of just doing the right thing.
We need one
for
more
the good of
fundamental
others. You know, like the whole opposition of, you know, universal health care is because, I don't want to pay for other people to get health care. It's like, yeah, I'm totally fine with paying for other people to be able to have fucking health care and live and be healthy. That's 100% okay with me. Yeah. So it's once we evolve as a society beyond that need, then we can advance and further ourselves beyond what we are now.
Yeah, we fundamentally need another evolution. And I'm not talking about genetics. We need an evolution of the way that we think, in the way that we live in the world.
That's not an evolution. I would say
evolution.
No.
I would say
evolution.
I have not spoken.
You're the goddamn host.
It is not the evolution, which is the correct word. I would say it is the. For lack of better, I'm positive there's a phrase for this, but monumental step.
Okay.
No, evolution takes place over millions of years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A monumental step,
right
but this is not taking millions of years. This is taking
decades.
Can I just say, money and how we operate?
Look at
money is part of our DNA as a society.
And
so society needs an evolutionary step for us to continue. Otherwise, it will always be us against them. It will always be, not only in this country is it us against them, where it used to be us against Soviet Union, us against China. It is now neighbor against neighbor. When's the last time we saw that? The Civil War.
But it could be an extinction event that propels our societal evolution.
As the host of this episode, I would devour the volume and take the gain, the exposure of the audio. I shall say what is on my mind because I am the host.
Go ahead. Liz and I will be quiet now, but you did open this door.
That's what I wanted.
People have shit to do. We gotta
I had things to say. I honestly don't remember them, but I could write like 10,000 words on what I thought I had just thought 5 minutes ago, but I can't remember now. So in the meantime, I want drinks to have. I'm gonna go. What movie are we going to watch next? Is it Total
I
Recall?
don't think,
We don't know.
no, it wasn't
Is it
Total Recall.
because we need to
Tits
watch
Up.
Three
we're
Tits Up.
starting
Three
from
Tits
Earth
Up.
to Earth to the Moon.
Oh no, that's too far at this point. If I was sober,
We
yeah,
just play
I
some
could
mini
do.
golf. I don't know.
We could play some mini golf.
Ted Lasso. Let's
Do some
Lasso.
Let Tasso.
Ted Lasso is
Fantasso.
just reminds me of Hope in Humanity.
But as you just eloquently put it, Mike George, hope and humanity is what I think of when I hear science fiction. I don't think of desolation.
Yes.
I don't think of Mad Max. I don't think of artificial intelligence taking over humanity and Terminator and destroying us all. I desperately want science and technology being constrained by the agreeable nature, people are going to hate me, of humanity to continue forward, like the Amish, for example, and saying what is best for us. We can think of that, for example, as like Vine and TikTok. Trust me, there is some nature within there, which we can talk about later on. But what I'm saying is that I want science fiction to progress humanity because I want to live forever until I say I am done. With that, ladies and gentlemen, join us in 2 weeks as we talk about Mike George. What are we talking about in two weeks?
We don't know yet.
And we don't know yet. It's
Ah.
It'll just be
but-
us because Brandon's out of here and he's
I'll
traveling,
be
so
in
we don't
Arkansas.
have
Yes,
any of
yeah.
this bullshit.
So it will be just me.
My bullshit, I will let you know, is completely valid as a human.
And it does help pay for rent.
It helps pay the rent. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe. Follow us on all the things. You know at this point.
We'll
Have
see
a
you
good
in 2
time.
weeks.
Yeah.
See you in 2 weeks.
See ya. Bye.
Cheers, everybody.
Stay safe.
It's been lots of fun.
Bye.
Also, go fuck yourselves.
Oh, don't say that. That's me.
But I mean it in like the congenial who, like in Spaceballs, as they always say.
God, it's just my mom and like Katie at this point.
But remember in Spaceballs how they go, what was his name? President Scrooge? And they do the thing. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna be fired tomorrow regardless.
Oh my God!
No,
All
you're
right,
not.
bye, Mom.
Frank doesn't watch this.
We love you.
See you later.
Bye, Katie.
Bye. Stay safe.
Bye, Anna.
Wear a mask.
Bye, all the
Please wear a
people.
mask.
All right.
This went longer than the main episode,
Anyway, goodbye. We're done now.
which was a lot of fun.